No. They can't wear dresses and skirts because they're boys. But only in some places they can.
Like where?
Like in Scotland, I think.
Heteronormativity is denoting or relating to a worldview that promotes heterosexuality as the normal or preferred sexual orientation.
Dozens of studies have been done showing how increased media exposure and marketing actually influence stereotypes that children hold about occupations and individuals.
Recall a time when you or maybe someone you know told a young boy to stop crying or to suck it up, or encouraged a young girl to play with Barbies instead of a toy truck. From the beginning, we set an either-or path for our children, a one or another when it comes to clothes, toys, or actions. It either is or isn't okay to cry. You either play with Hot Wheels or you play with Barbies. We use gender as a way to construct our children's reality.
From saying gender is performative. When we say gender is performed, we usually mean that we've taken on a role. We're acting in some way. And that our acting or our role playing is crucial to the gender that we are and the gender that we present to the world.
For as long as we can remember, certain jobs, activities, and behaviors have been associated with men while others for women. And although we have come a long way from what gender stereotypes were in the 1950s, our children are still bombarded with these messages on a constant basis. From the teenage boy who's ashamed of showing emotion to the young girl who's too embarrassed to try out for the baseball team, gender stereotypes can certainly be confusing and even damaging for children. So the question is, how do you avoid it?
I'll make some things up. I just want to go like T-ball. Girls play T-ball. I'm just trying to break down these gender stereotypes.
Alison Bechdel is a comic book artist, and back in the mid-'80s, she recorded this conversation she'd had with a friend about assessing the movies that they saw. And it's very simple. There's just 3 questions you should ask. Is there more than one character in the movie that is female who has lines? So try to meet that bar. And do these women talk to each other at any point in the movie? And is there conversation about something other than the guy that they both like? 2 women who exist and talk to each other about stuff. It does happen. I've seen it, and yet I very rarely see it in the movies that we know and love. In fact, this week I went to
I don't believe God makes mistakes. You cannot just change your sex. The position of the Catholic Church is that you live your life in the sex that God gave you.
And everyone says, well, what did you expect? I expected compassion. I expected a community that talks about love and acceptance to actually show love and acceptance.
Ted Cruz, who called it politically correct lunacy.
Demanding that every public school now allow grown men and boys into little girls' bathroom.
The point is, this is an issue that you and other transgender people have brought on yourselves by choosing to present yourselves as the opposite of your biological sex.
It's not going to be a guy in a suit and tie who just wants to be pervy and walk into a woman's bathroom.
Saying, today I'm a woman.
Exactly,
yeah.
And that's what they're saying is going to happen, and they're worried about women and children.
Has that been happening? Have you heard one case where a man's dressing up in women's clothing to be, to be a pervert? I've never heard, so this is total fear-mongering.
And not anymore. Okay. Thank you, Donald. I really appreciate it. And by the way, Ted, nobody got molested.
The way we communicate gender to our children, we have a responsibility to think about the ways that we talk about gender and to make sure that we're communicating it in liberative, positive ways so that we can have a society that doesn't see gender and a society that communicates gender in more positive tones for a more diverse, just world. think?
I mean, gay didn't used to be an identity. It used to be an activity. And if all of these things are true, if really our terms are invented as well as ourselves, then you and me and circumstance and biology are all in this together.
Do you think boys and girls should be treated differently?
No,
Why not?
because they're both people.